What do developers look for when buying a piece of property? Listen, buying a piece of land is the simplest entry point, but you have to know what you're looking for. In this video, we're going to show you specifically what a developer would look for when buying a piece of property, and you should look for the very same thing. And stick around to the end, and I'll show you the ultimate developer lot. Now, buying a piece of property is one thing with a house. You're looking at location, how the bones are, what does the building look like, what's the resale value on it, how old, all of those factors are kind of right there, and we've got a ton of videos on those. Okay, but buying land is kind of a different thing. If you've never done it before, you don't even really think about it. And hopefully after this video, you're driving around looking at lots everywhere. So let's just talk about differences in land. Okay, first of all, let's talk about fully improved lots. Now, what is a fully improved lot? That means it's got streets, gutters, sidewalks, and all utilities are at the property. Not nearby, but literally at the property. That makes a huge difference. For instance, if any of you have driven around anywhere in the United States and you see a subdivision and they've got the big flags and the balloons and they have the model homes, that would be a fully improved lot. What you're doing is you go in there and you say, oh, I want this lot over here. You pick the building you want on it and they build and they're ready to go. Believe it or not, you will find some of these subdivisions that some developer made some mistakes and they are no longer building within that subdivision. And then all of a sudden the taxes are going uncollected. And I have from time to time in the past gone in and bought the taxes on those lots. And now I've got a fully improved lot ready to build. Okay, so some things that you want to look at, just because it's a lot that the builder went sideways on doesn't mean it's someone that somebody wants. Okay, I want to look at some factors on it. First of all, is there current construction going on within the subdivision? I mean, if nobody's building in there and there's weeds growing up in the street, and trust me, I've seen that before, why would anybody buy the lot from you? Okay, I mean, isn't that what we're gonna do? We're gonna get the lot for back taxes and then sell it at a profit. But you gotta sell it at a profit if it's a sellable lot. So I've been in subdivisions where somebody's dream went sour and no longer any developers in there. Nobody's even building there. There's a couple of houses in there maybe, and maybe a filming of The Walking Dead would be appropriate because literally it's scary. Okay, so just because you see lots doesn't mean it's the way to go. Now, when you're looking at lists, any list in the United States, one of the first things I want you to do is thumb through that list, or down arrow on the computer, and I want you to look for similarities. In other words, sequential parcel numbers. So if the last four digits are 3 digits, or 310, 311, 312, oh wait, these are subsequent properties, it's probably some lots. If you see the same values, that's lower than everything else in the neighborhood. Property taxes, lower than all of them, $600, $600, $600, $600. You're going, okay, these are probably lots. First of all, stop, put those aside, and put those for research later on. They might just be a fully improved lot. Now, that's not the only ones out there. That's just, I want to start with that. The next thing you're looking at with a fully improved lot in a subdivision, let's say there's 30, 40. I've seen 100 lots inside a subdivision. It doesn't mean you want all of them. What I want, write this down, is what we call value add. So where's the value add in a lot? So if I'm looking at 30 lots, I want the best lots in there. Maybe one's in a cul-de-sac and it's got a bigger pie on the back of the piece of property because it fans out. Maybe there's a park or something behind it, or a bike path in the back of it. Maybe there's actually public lands behind it where nobody's gonna build. Those would be value adds. Maybe it's near a golf course, a lake, a number of things. Now, cautionary note on golf courses. As of this recording, there are some great golf courses, and there are some golf courses that are running out of money. I mean, probably 8 years ago, there was something like the tune of, 15 or 20 golf courses a month going down. So be careful of that. That used to be it's near a golf course. Now it's kind of like, check the golf course out. Is the golf course public or is it private? Buying a lot, owning a lot in that subdivision, does that give you rights to the private golf course? So those are things that would be, I consider, value add. Okay. Now, Some other things that aren't in subdivisions. Okay, so for instance, I've done, and you've seen some of my other videos, I've done some properties in some cities and towns where I'm buying lots individually, not necessarily in a subdivision. The first thing I want to look at is utilities. Okay, this is what I see all the time when I'm doing these. Even when I'm not doing tax lien certificates, like for instance, I've got 10 properties that I'm buying in the Joshua Tree area. They're not in a subdivision. I'm not buying them through tax lien certificates. I just know I'm getting at a very good deal because somebody went in there and said, oh my gosh, honey, we're gonna build a house and we're gonna live in the desert. And then they buy this lot and they're like, wait, how far are the utilities? How much is that gonna cost? So there's all these subsequent things that are gonna cost them money to get this going. So for instance, I get a lot there, I pay a few $1,000s for it, I gotta put utilities, but before I buy that lot, I wanna make sure how close are the utilities. And hey, they might not be right next to it, but what's it gonna cost per linear foot to get there? Where's the power? Okay, just because there's power to the neighbors doesn't mean that there's power right in the back of my property also. So I might have to call PG&E or SMUX, who knows, to get that power over there. That could cost me $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just to make that happen. Is it got septic or is it a sewer? So do I have to hook up to the city sewer? These are all factors that you want to look at when looking at a lot because somebody's going to want that. If there's current building going on in the subdivision, that might be your buyer. Is it the buyers in that particular area? So that could be one thing that you're looking at, or the builders in that particular area could be your buyers. These are the things you want to look at. Now, here's one that might not cross your radar. Flat. Is it a flat lot? This is probably, I'm talking flat. Because if you have to do any grading on it, and builders know this right off the bat, when I'm looking at a lot, first thing I look at is gradient on it, utilities, location, and all that. Okay, now value add. Let's talk about value add. Location, location, location. Where is that property located? I'm going to go back to Joshua Tree. Okay, I am 7 minutes if I'm driving really slow from the entrance to a national park that has 3.4 million people from the Los Angeles area and all over the world coming just to go hiking there. That's value add. Okay, I'm in what they call the circle, what have you. There's lots on the other side of town, but they're not as convenient, they're not as close. So therefore, I can get a bigger lot, okay, but it's gonna have less value in the long run. These are the things that you're looking at. There's so much money available in just buying land, it's unbelievable. Your low price point entry, you're not dealing with tenants. You don't have to worry about construction or what have you. But the other side of it, the cons are, I got no building on there, I've got no tenants, so I've got no income. You need to have an exit strategy in place, something in mind, because right now, if I buy a lot through tax deed, through tax lien, or any other way, I'm holding a piece of asset that's not producing any income. One of the beautiful things about real estate is it produces income. A lot with nobody on it isn't gonna do that. Now, there's some creative people out there that I've seen buying lots, and it's going against some of the things that I put in my parameters, but I like what they're doing. So in other words, they're finding these lots and they're not necessarily in the city, they're outskirts. And there was one that I saw that was 10 acres and had access, no utilities, but they turned it into a camping spot. Look at the local regulations. In that particular area, they were able to put 10 camping spots per 1 acre. So they put 10 camping spots, they put it on one of the apps out there, Hips Campster or something like that, in there, and people started camping there. And then they found out that the ranch next door, because they went to them and said, hey, could you mind coming by once a month, once every other week, check the place, once a month, checking to make sure that everything's good to go on this, do the garbage, we'll pay you some money. And the ranchers go, we got a better idea. If you let our cattle graze on that, we'll do all that for free. Well, then they found out if they let the cattle graze on that, that particular state allowed them not to pay any property taxes. I mean, it just kept going over. So a very, very small investment in this 10 acres started producing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year in income on that. So these are the types of things you want to look at with lots. I mean, there's so many things out there, okay? So let's say that we get a lot in the middle of a town somewhere and it's just a one-off. It's one lot. I've got one I'm thinking about right now. And you look at it and you go, okay, if I build on this thing, it might be a little too expensive. But what about prefabricated homes? That is a great way to do it. Prefabbed homes, that industry, don't cringe, has come so far. There are places in there where you can spend $100,000 to $120,000. They'll finance it for you as long as you've got the utilities and the foundation already poured. There's all sorts of stuff on that. They'll drop the house in there and have it done by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So think about this. They come in at 8, by 4 you've got a house literally that's turnkey. The only thing this one place I saw didn't have was the washer and dryer. Had the hookups, we just had to put a washer and dryer in it, put a little deck around it. They financed it for us. You know, we had walking in there $70,000 worth of equity in a situation like that if you were to move forward. So there are so many different ways to utilize with lots. As you can see, I get excited about it. Okay, I'm in the process of just doing 10 lots that should have multiple 7 figures in the next 2 years on that. If you play your cards right, you're gonna know how to do this. Look, if you want more information, go to higginsmethod.com. My people in there will help you out. Click the link down below, fill out the form, and I'll see you on the other side. God bless and good luck.